Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras, and coming up in today's newscast, Israeli President Isaac Herzog making a splash in Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, Israelis are gearing up for the 5th serial election this time next week. And a new technological innovation providing Israeli researchers with a unique new way to date ancient historical events. Yet another deadly evening Tuesday as a number of terror attacks both carried out and attempted against Israeli civilians. A 55-year-old Israeli man seriously wounded in a suspected terrorist stabbing attack in Judea and Samaria Tuesday evening. The victim attacked as he was exiting a store in which he was shopping in the northern West Bank. And after the stabbing, the victim managing to reach his car and drive to a nearby junction where he was treated by Magen David Adom paramedics. The Palestinian stabber arrested shortly thereafter. Later, in a separate incident, a Palestinian teen armed with a knife arrested at a checkpoint near Jerusalem. Meantime, these attacks preceded and followed by a number of Israeli raids, Israeli security forces continuing to crack down on the Nablus-based Lion's Den terror group, killing at least 5 of the group's gunmen and arresting several more overnight. Prime Minister Lapid saying anyone who hurts Israeli citizens, quote, should know it will end badly.
חיסולו של ראש ארגון גובה האריות, ודיה החוך, יחד עם מחבלים נוספים הוא תוצאה של פעילות משותפת של כוחות הביטחון, צה"ל, שב"כ וימ"מ, הלילה בשכם. כחלק מהפעולה נפגעה קשה מעבדת הטרור של גובה האריות. מדובר במכה מדויקת וקטלנית בלב תשתית טרור שמנסה לבצע פיגועים. אני רוצה לומר, מטרתנו הייתה ונותרה לפגוע פגיעה קשה ומתמשכת בטרור ושלוחיו בג'נין ובשכם, ובכל מקום אחר שבו יצמחו קיני טרור. אנחנו לא נרפה לרגע, לא נאפשר קיומם של ארגוני טרור שפוגעים באזרחי ישראל ובחיילי צה"ל.
Moving now to Washington, Israeli President Isaac Herzog holding a series of high-level meetings ahead of his White House summit today with President Joe Biden. And while the Israeli presidency is largely a ceremonial role, Herzog is raising all sorts of key issues, especially Iran's role in global destabilization. ILTV's Steve Leibowitz reports.
President Herzog touched down in Washington yesterday for a visit that will include a White House summit meeting with U.S. President Joe Biden later today. Herzog said that the most pressing topic on the agenda is the Iranian threat, which is destabilizing not only the Middle East, but the entire world. During his meetings, President Herzog is presenting evidence to U.S. officials which show Iranian drones being used by Russia in combat in Ukraine.
We will be discussing, you and I, and as well as my discussions with the administration, the challenges that Iran poses to us and to humanity at large. Our hearts go out to the people of Iran. The women of Iran are oppressed and attacked day in, day out. And I will be exposing more of the fact that Iranian weapons are used against civilians, innocent civilians in Ukraine.
Secretary of State Blinken congratulated Israel on the maritime agreement with Lebanon due to be signed tomorrow.
And of course, as you said, we are standing together against the dangerous, destabilizing, and terrorizing actions that Iran is taking in the region, and as you noted, well beyond the region. The provision of drones by Iran to Russia to enable its further aggression against Ukraine and the Ukrainian people is showing horrific results on the ground in Ukraine, and it's something that we are determined to stand against.
Later, Herzog met with Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. The president told Pelosi that Iran was an enormous challenge and thanked the United States for its support of Israel. Pelosi hailed the upcoming 75th anniversary celebration of the founding of the State of Israel.
In the next few months, we will observe the 75th anniversary of the establishment of the State of Israel. 75th anniversary. That will happen in the spring, but we're already getting ready for it. We take great pride that our president, President Truman, in a matter of minutes, recognized the State of Israel. And since that time, we've had a strong bond based on shared values.
And now with more on Israeli President Herzog's U.S. visit, Professor Eitan Gilboa, expert on U.S.-Israel relations from Bar-Ilan University and research fellow at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security. Professor, it's great to have you back with us. Now let's start with Herzog's laser focus on getting the United States to turn further away from Iran. Is he barking up the wrong tree, though, by speaking with Blinken and Biden, etc.? Israel has, for a long time, been trying to sway the United States politics here, and it doesn't seem to have really affected that much.
Yes, there are some recent developments that are helping Israel. Number one, the riots and the demonstrations in Iran against women and students, which shows the ugly face of the Iranian extreme government. And secondly, the Iranian selling of drones to the Ukraine. These two developments have tarnished the image of Iran and the United States, and it will become politically almost impossible for both Biden and Blinken to push for that kind of nuclear agreement.
Still, doesn't it make more sense perhaps for Herzog to speak more with Congress than it does with the White House?
Not necessarily. We recall that back in 2015, when Obama signed the first a nuclear agreement with Iran, he refused. He did not submit the agreement to congressional ratification. So basically, Biden and Blinken could bypass the Congress again. But since we are just a few days before the midterm elections, this becomes a very difficult challenge for the administration to go ahead with another nuclear agreement with Iran at this time. And Herzog is telling both Biden and Blinken that nobody should believe Iran. Iran has denied denied any selling of drones, attack drones to Russia. We know that this is a complete lie. So Israel is telling the United States we can never trust or believe anything that Iran does, especially on the nuclear weapons program, where they have been lying for years.
All right, now moving away from Iran, the United States has seemingly been much more concerned with the escalations between Israel and the Palestinian militant groups in the West Bank and Gaza. Antony Blinken calling for all parties to de-escalate. Why is the White House equivocating between the IDF and terror groups like Islamic Jihad, the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, and most recently, the Lion's Den?
That's a good question, but this is not new. The United States is quite concerned with the rise in violence in the West Bank. I think they understand that Israel has no other choice but to use force against those terrorist groups in Nablus and Jenin, who have been carried out terrorist incidents in Jerusalem and the entire West Bank, but still they want to appear as more neutral, and so they call upon the two sides to be more restrained in their operations. But I think that Herzog will do well by telling the president and Blinken there is a major difference between terrorist attacks and Israel's defensive measures against them.
All right, now President Herzog and American officials are also reaffirming the commitment to one another. But Israel has elections coming up next week, and historically the Democratic Party, including Presidents Clinton and Obama, funneled funding to try and oust Netanyahu from the Prime Minister's office. Bibi even spoke about this during a recent interview and in his new memoir. Do you think that the Biden administration might follow suit, might make a similar effort to keep Lapid in office?
Yes, I think this is no secret that the Biden administration would like to see a government of national unity in Israel, of the kind that has been existing in the last year or so. They don't want to see a full right national government headed by Netanyahu with extreme right participants in his coalition like the religious Zionist and Jewish power.
To watch full episodes of ILTV's Israel Daily and tons of other content from Israel, visit our website at iltv.tv or download the ILTV Plus app.